There is a lesson circling your life right now, Sagittarius, and if you catch it at the right moment, it will not just teach you something. It will become the very force that pushes everything forward. Most people hear the word lesson and they think of something painful, something they have to survive. But what if the lesson you are about to understand is not here to hurt you? It is here to launch you. That is what this message is about. The energy surrounding your sign right now is not random. It is not coincidence. It is a specific kind of pressure that, once you recognize it, transforms into pure momentum. And momentum, once it starts, does not stop easily. You have felt it before. That sudden shift where everything that was heavy starts to move. Where doors that were sealed begin to crack open. Where your mind clears and your steps feel purposeful again. That is not luck. That is alignment. And alignment does not come from waiting. It comes from understanding the lesson that is standing right in front of you. So stay with me through every single part of this message. Each piece builds on the last. Each insight adds fuel to the fire that is already beginning to burn inside you. By the end, you will not just understand what is happening in your life. You will know exactly how to use it. And that changes everything. Tip 1. The lesson is not what happened to you. It is what you did with what happened. Sagittarius, you have been through things that would have broken most people. You have carried weight that nobody saw. You have smiled through storms that raged behind your eyes. And through all of it, you kept going. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not gracefully, but you kept going. And that is the first part of the lesson you need to understand right now. The lesson is never the event itself. It is never the betrayal. It is never the loss. It is never the failure. The lesson is always about what you chose to do after. Because two people can go through the exact same situation, and one will crumble while the other will rise. The difference is not strength in the way most people think of strength. It is not about being tough or cold or unfeeling. The difference is in the decision that happens in the quiet moment after the storm passes. The decision to keep building. The decision to keep trusting yourself. The decision to say, even though that hurt me, I am not going to let it define the rest of my life. That is the lesson, and you have already been living it. You just might not have recognized it yet because you were too busy surviving to stop and see what you were actually becoming. Think about this for a moment. Every difficult season you have walked through has left something behind. Not just scars, but skills. Not just pain, but perspective. Not just confusion, but clarity about what you will and will not accept going forward. You are not the same person you were a year ago. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago. And the version of you sitting here right now, listening to these words, is the result of every single lesson you chose to learn instead of letting it destroy you. That matters more than you realize. Because momentum does not come from nowhere. It comes from accumulated wisdom. It comes from all the times you chose to get back up. Every single one of those moments built a foundation. And now that foundation is strong enough to hold something extraordinary. The universe does not waste your pain, Sagittarius. It recycles it. It takes what was heavy and turns it into fuel. But you have to be willing to see it that way. You have to be willing to stop looking at your past as a series of wounds and start looking at it as a series of training grounds. Each one prepared you for this exact moment. Each one gave you something you needed for what is coming next. And what is coming next? Well, that is where the momentum truly begins. You did not endure all of that for nothing. You did not cry those tears, lose that sleep, question your worth, and rebuild yourself from the ground up just to end up in the same place you started. No, every single drop of effort has been deposited into an account you are about to draw from, and the balance is larger than you imagined. But first, you need to understand the second part of this lesson because without it, the momentum will not last. Tip 2. Momentum begins the moment you stop rehearsing the old story. There is a pattern that Sagittarius falls into more often than any other sign, and it is this. You replay. You go back to moments that already happened. You revisit conversations that already ended. You rethink decisions that cannot be unmade. And every time you do that, you are draining energy from your present moment and pouring it into a past that cannot change. This is not a flaw. It is actually a sign of your depth. You care so much about understanding life that you keep turning things over in your mind, trying to find the meaning, trying to make sense of why things happen the way they did. But here is the truth that will set you free. You do not need to understand everything in order to move forward. Sometimes the understanding comes later. Sometimes it comes years later, and sometimes the understanding is simply this: it happened so you could become who you are right now. That is it. That is the whole answer. And when you accept that answer, something shifts inside you. The weight lifts. The mental loop stops spinning. And suddenly you have all this energy that was being used to analyze the past, and it is now available for building the future. This is exactly where momentum is born. Not in some grand external event. Not in a lucky break. Not in someone else giving you permission or validation. Momentum is born in the internal decision to stop telling yourself the old story and start writing a new one. Think about how much mental space you have been giving to things that are already finished. Think about the conversations you have replayed 100 times. Think about the regrets you have circled back to again and again. Now imagine taking all of that energy, every single drop of it, and redirecting it towards something you actually want to build. That is not a small shift. That is a revolution inside your own mind. And it is available to you right now. Today. Not next week. Not next month. Right now. The old story served a purpose, taught you things, shaped you, but it has done its job. And continuing to carry it is like trying to drive forward while staring in the rearview mirror. You will crash. Not because you are incapable, but because your attention is in the wrong place. Sagittarius, your attention is one of the most powerful forces you possess. Where you place it determines what grows in your life. Place it on the past, and the past grows louder. Place it on the future you want to create, and that future begins to take shape. It is not magic. It is focus. And focus, when sustained, becomes momentum. The kind of momentum that does not need anyone else's approval. The kind that builds quietly and then one day becomes undeniable. You have spent long enough analyzing chapters that have already closed. You have honored those pages. You have extracted every drop of wisdom they had to offer. Now it is time to turn the page. Now it is time to pick up the pen and write something new. Something that excites you. Something that challenges you. Something that proves to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that the best chapters of your life are not behind you. They are ahead. But there is a specific obstacle that tends to block this momentum, and if you do not address it, everything else stalls. That is what comes next. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. They will never arrive. Sagittarius, you have a vision. You always have. Your mind is wired to see possibilities that other people miss entirely. You can look at a situation and immediately imagine how it could be better, how it could grow, how it could transform into something remarkable. That is a gift. But that gift comes with a shadow. And the shadow is this. You sometimes wait. You wait for the timing to feel right. You wait for the resources to line up. You wait for the fear to go away. You wait for some invisible signal from the universe that says now is the moment. And while you wait, the momentum slows. Not because the universe has forgotten about you, but because momentum requires movement. It requires imperfect, messy, uncertain movement. It requires you to take a step before you can see the whole staircase. This is one of the hardest lessons for your sign to truly absorb, because Sagittarius wants freedom and adventure, but also wants to feel ready. You want to leap, but you want to know where you are going to land. And that tension between wanting to move and wanting to feel safe can keep you frozen in place for months, even years. But here is what you need to hear right now. You will never feel fully ready. That feeling of total readiness is an illusion. It does not exist. The people who have built extraordinary lives did not wait until they were ready. They started before they were ready, and the readiness came through the act of doing. Think about learning to swim. Nobody learns to swim by standing at the edge of the pool analyzing the water. You learn by getting in. You learn by flailing around a little. You learn by feeling uncomfortable and doing it anyway. And then one day, without even realizing when it happened, you can swim. Life works the same way. The skill comes through the action, not before it. The confidence comes through the experience, not before it. The clarity comes through the movement, not before it. So whatever you have been putting off, whatever project or conversation or decision you have been delaying because the conditions are not perfect, this is your sign to begin. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, because the momentum you are looking for is not going to show up and carry you. You have to take the first step, and then the momentum meets you halfway. It is a partnership. You move and the energy moves with you. You take one step and the next step becomes visible. You take 2 steps and suddenly the path starts to clear. That is how it works. Not all at once, not in some dramatic explosion of change, but step by step, breath by breath, choice by choice. And each choice you make builds on the one before it. That is momentum in its purest form. The conditions will never be perfect, because perfection is a moving target that keeps retreating the closer you get to it. Stop chasing it. Start moving without it. Start building with what you have, where you are exactly as you are right now. The perfect moment is the one you decide to use. And every moment you spend waiting is a moment your momentum is sitting idle, waiting for you to give it permission to move. But there is another layer to this that most people never talk about, and it is the very thing that separates those who build lasting momentum from those who start and stop over and over again. Tip 4. Discipline is not your enemy. It is your bridge. If there is one word that makes Sagittarius uncomfortable, it might be discipline. Your sign craves freedom. You want to explore. You want spontaneity. You want the open road and the wide sky and the feeling that anything is possible at any moment. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is part of what makes you extraordinary. But here is the paradox that most Sagittarius souls struggle with for decades before they finally understand it. Discipline does not take away your freedom. Discipline is what creates it. Think about it this way. A musician who practices every single day has more freedom when they perform than one who only plays when they feel like it. A gardener who tends to their soil consistently has more abundance come harvest time than one who only waters when they remember. Discipline is not a cage. It is a foundation. And with a strong foundation, you can build anything you want on top of it. The problem is that you have probably been told your whole life that discipline means doing things you hate. That it means forcing yourself into rigid routines that crush your spirit. That it means giving up joy in exchange for productivity. But that is a lie. Real discipline is about choosing your future self over your present comfort. It is about recognizing that the version of you that exists 6 months from now is being shaped by what you do today. And when you frame it that way, discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like self-respect. You are not being hard on yourself by showing up consistently. You are honoring yourself. You are saying to yourself, I matter enough to follow through. My dreams matter enough to put in the work. My future matters enough to make small sacrifices today. That is not rigidity. That is love. Self-love in its most practical form. And when you combine the natural fire and vision of Sagittarius with the steady flame of consistent discipline, something remarkable happens. The ideas that used to float around in your mind start to take physical form. The goals that used to feel distant start to come closer. The life you have been imagining starts to become the life you are actually living. This is the bridge. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And you do not have to cross it all at once. You do not have to become a completely different person overnight. You just have to show up a little more consistently than you did before. That is it. Small, steady, imperfect consistency. That is the key. And that key opens doors you did not even know existed. Start with something manageable. Something so small it almost feels silly. 5 minutes a day of focused effort toward the thing that matters most to you. That is all. 5 minutes. And once 5 minutes becomes easy, make it 10. Then 15, then 30. Before you know it, you have built a habit that runs on its own momentum. You have created a groove so deep that your daily actions flow through it naturally, without resistance, without the internal battle you used to fight every single morning. That is when discipline stops being something you do and becomes something you are. But there is another element to this momentum that is equally important, and it involves the people around you. Because no matter how much internal work you do, the external environment matters more than most people want to admit. Tip 5. Your environment is either feeding your fire or slowly putting it out. Sagittarius, let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you looked around at the people in your daily life and asked yourself, are these people helping me grow? Or are they keeping me stuck? This is not about being judgmental. This is not about cutting people off or being cold or building walls. This is about recognizing a simple truth that will change the trajectory of your entire life. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Not immediately, not overnight, but slowly, gradually, almost invisibly, the attitudes and beliefs and energy of the people around you seep into your own thinking. If you are surrounded by people who complain constantly, you will find yourself complaining more. If you are surrounded by people who see problems everywhere, you will start to see problems everywhere too. But if you are surrounded by people who believe in growth, who take action, who refuse to stay stuck, who talk about ideas and dreams and progress, you will feel that fire inside you grow stronger every single day. This is not theory. This is one of the most well-documented patterns in human behavior. Your environment shapes you in ways you cannot fully control unless you make conscious choices about what and who you allow into your space. And for Sagittarius, this is especially important because your sign is naturally absorbent. You pick up on the energy around you like a sponge picks up water. You feel what other people feel. You absorb their moods, their doubts, their fears. And if you are not careful, you can spend years carrying emotional weight that was never yours to begin with. So here is what the lesson is teaching you right now. It is time to evaluate, not with anger, not with resentment, but with honesty. Look at the 5 people you talk to most. Look at the content you consume most. Look at the conversations you have most frequently. Are they building you up or wearing you down? Are they expanding your sense of what is possible or shrinking it? Are they encouraging your growth or making you feel guilty for wanting more? You deserve to be surrounded by people who see your potential, even when you cannot see it yourself. You deserve conversations that leave you energized instead of drained. You deserve an environment that supports the version of you that is trying to emerge. And sometimes creating that environment means making difficult choices. It might mean spending less time with certain people. It might mean turning off certain sources of noise. It might mean seeking out new communities, new conversations, new spaces where your energy is matched and multiplied instead of diminished. This is not selfish. This is survival. And more than survival, it is strategy. Because the momentum you are building needs fuel. And the right environment is the most powerful fuel there is. Your fire cannot burn in a room with no oxygen. And some of the rooms you have been sitting in have had the windows closed for far too long. Open them. Let the fresh air in. Let new energy circulate. Let yourself breathe in an atmosphere that actually supports the life you are trying to build. It will feel uncomfortable at first because change always does. But that discomfort is temporary. What you gain from it is permanent. But adjusting your environment is only part of the equation. The next piece is something that happens entirely inside you, and it might be the most important shift of all. Tip 6. Forgive yourself for the time you think you wasted. This one is going to hit close to home, Sagittarius, because if there is one thing your sign carries silently, it is regret over time. You look back and you think about all the months, all the years, all the seasons you spent in the wrong relationship, the wrong job, the wrong mindset, the wrong city, the wrong life. And a part of you whispers, I should be further ahead by now. I should have figured this out sooner. I should have left earlier. I should have started earlier. I should have known better. And that whisper, as quiet as it is, drains more of your energy than almost anything else. Because it keeps you tethered to a version of the past that you cannot change, and it makes every step forward feel like it is not enough because you are measuring it against where you think you should have been. Stop. Just stop. Because the truth is, none of that time was wasted. Every single moment of your life, including the moments you regret the most, contributed to the person you are right now. The relationship that did not work out taught you what love is not, so that when real love arrives, you will recognize it. The job that drained you showed you what your boundaries are so that now you know what to protect. The years you spent confused were years of invisible growth, even if it did not feel like it at the time. You were learning. You were observing. You were gathering information that your soul needed for this exact chapter of your life. There is no wasted time, Sagittarius. There are only lessons that took longer than you wished they had. And that is okay. That is human. That is part of the journey. But here is what you must do now. You must forgive yourself. Fully. Completely. Not halfway. Not with conditions. Not with the asterisk of "but I still should have known better." Full forgiveness. The kind that releases the weight from your chest and lets you breathe deeply for the first time in years. Because until you forgive yourself for the past, you cannot fully step into the future. The guilt acts like an anchor. It holds you in place even when the wind is blowing in your favor. And right now, the wind is blowing in your favor. The energy is shifting. The opportunities are forming. The momentum is building. But it cannot carry you if you are still chained to yesterday's regrets. Let them go. Not because they do not matter, but because you matter more. Your future matters more. The life that is waiting for you on the other side of this forgiveness matters more. And when you finally release that weight, you will feel it immediately. A lightness, a clarity, a surge of energy that feels like coming home to yourself. That is what forgiveness does. It does not change the past. It frees the present, and it opens the door to a future that is bigger than anything you have imagined. The forgiveness is not for the people who hurt you. It is not for the situations that disappointed you. It is for you. It is your gift to yourself. And it is long overdue. But this inner freedom needs to be protected. And the next piece of this message explains exactly how to do that. Tip 7. Guard your energy like it is the most valuable thing you own. Because it is. Sagittarius, you give. That is in your nature. You give your time, your attention, your enthusiasm, your wisdom, your warmth. You give freely and generously, often without even thinking about it. And that generosity is beautiful. It is one of the reasons people are drawn to you. They feel your fire. They feel your openness. They feel the way you make everything seem possible just by being in the room. But here is the hard truth. Not everyone who takes from you deserves what you are giving. And not every situation that asks for your energy is worth the cost. You have probably experienced this more times than you can count. You give everything to a project, a friendship, a relationship, a cause. And at the end you are left empty. Not because giving is wrong, but because you gave without boundaries. You gave without checking whether the exchange was balanced. You gave until there was nothing left for yourself. And then you wonder why you feel stuck. You wonder why the momentum fades. You wonder why the fire that used to burn so brightly inside you has dimmed to barely a flicker. The answer is almost always the same. You let too much of your energy flow outward without replenishing it. This is the lesson that is emerging in your life right now. You must learn to guard your energy, not by becoming cold or closed off or suspicious of everyone, but by becoming intentional, by asking yourself before you commit to something. Does this feed me or drain me? Does this align with where I am going or does it pull me backward? Is this a fair exchange, or am I the only one giving? These are not selfish questions. These are survival questions. And for Sagittarius, they are also momentum questions, because momentum requires fuel, and your energy is the fuel. If you are pouring it into things that do not serve you, there will be nothing left for the things that do. Think of your energy like a fire. If you keep throwing wood on it, it burns brighter and hotter. But if you keep taking wood away, eventually it goes out. The people, activities, thoughts, and habits in your life are either adding wood to your fire or taking it away. And right now, you need to be fiercely protective of that flame. Because the momentum that is building in your life needs every ounce of fuel you can give it. The opportunities that are coming your way need you to be at full strength. The future you are stepping into requires the best version of you, not the depleted, exhausted, burnt-out version that has been giving too much to the wrong things. So make a decision today. Not a dramatic, burn-everything-down decision, but a quiet, firm decision to be more intentional with where your energy goes. Say no to the things that drain you. Say yes to the things that fill you up. And watch what happens when your fire starts burning at full power again. There is a practice that will help you with this. At the end of each day, sit quietly for just a few minutes and ask yourself one question. Where did my energy go today? Not where did my time go? Where did my energy go? Because you can spend an hour on something and feel more alive afterward, or you can spend 10 minutes on something and feel like it took everything out of you. Track the feeling, not just the clock. And over time, you will start to see a clear pattern. You will see exactly which people, which activities, which habits are feeding your fire and which ones are slowly smothering it. That awareness alone will change everything. The next section reveals something about your sign that most people never understand, and it is directly connected to why this particular moment in time is so important for you. Tip 8. Your restlessness is not a flaw. It is a compass. If you have spent your whole life being told you are too restless, too impatient, too eager for the next thing, too unable to sit still, listen closely to what I am about to tell you. That restlessness is not a character flaw. It is not a deficit. It is not something you need to fix or medicate or suppress. That restlessness is your internal compass, and it has been trying to guide you your entire life. Sagittarius is the sign of the seeker. You are wired to explore, to expand, to push beyond the boundaries that other people accept without question. And when you are in a situation that is too small for you, when you are living a life that does not match the size of your spirit, that restlessness shows up to tell you, this is not it. Keep going. There is more. Most people misunderstand this about your sign. They think you are flaky. They think you cannot commit. They think you get bored easily because something is wrong with you. But the truth is the opposite. You get restless when something is right with you. You get restless when your soul knows that you are meant for more than what you currently have. And instead of fighting that feeling, you need to learn to listen to it, because it is telling you where the momentum wants to take you. Think about the times in your life when you ignored your restlessness, when you stayed in the situation that was too small, when you talked yourself out of the change you knew you needed to make. What happened? The restlessness did not go away. It got louder. It turned into frustration, turned into anxiety. It turned into a low-grade sadness that you could not quite explain. That is because you were fighting your own compass. You were trying to stand still when everything inside you was designed to move. Now think about the times when you listened to that restlessness, when you made the leap, when you followed the pull even though it did not make logical sense. What happened then? Things clicked. Doors opened. People appeared. The path revealed itself. Because you were finally moving in the direction your compass was pointing. Right now, in this season of your life, the compass is active again. You can feel it. That low hum of dissatisfaction with the way things are. That quiet knowing that something needs to change. That pull towards something you cannot quite name yet, but you know it is out there. Do not ignore it. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not let anyone else convince you that you should be satisfied with where you are if your soul is telling you there is more. The restlessness is the lesson, and the lesson is this: trust yourself. Trust the compass. Trust the pull, because that pull is the beginning of momentum. And momentum, once you surrender to it, will carry you further than you ever thought possible. Your restlessness has never been the problem. It has always been the answer you were too afraid to follow. Until now. Until this very moment when something inside you is finally ready to listen. But the compass only works if you are willing to do something that most people are terrified of, and that is what the next section is about. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. Let go of the need to control how it unfolds. This might be the hardest lesson of all for Sagittarius, because you are a planner at heart, even if you do not look like one on the surface. You might appear spontaneous and free-spirited to the outside world, but inside you have a very specific picture of how things should go. You have a vision of what your life should look like, what success should feel like, what love should be, what happiness should mean. And that vision is powerful. It drives you. It motivates you. It gives you direction. But it can also become a trap. Because when you hold too tightly to the picture of how things should unfold, you close yourself off to how they actually want to unfold. And the way things actually want to unfold is almost always bigger, more creative, and more beautiful than anything you could have planned with your conscious mind. This is where faith comes in. Not faith in any religious sense necessarily, but faith in the process. Faith that the energy you are putting out is being received. Faith that the steps you are taking are leading somewhere, even when you cannot see the destination. Faith that the universe has a plan that is at least as good as yours, and probably better. Sagittarius struggles with this because you like to see where you are going. You like to have a map. You like to know the route before you start the journey. But the most transformative journeys of your life have never followed a map. They have unfolded through a series of unexpected turns, surprise encounters, and moments of spontaneous clarity that you could never have predicted. Think about the most meaningful experiences of your life. How many of them went exactly according to plan? Probably very few. Most of them involve some element of surprise, some twist you did not see coming, some detour that turned out to be the most important part of the journey. That is the universe working with you, not against you. And when you try to control every detail, you are essentially telling the universe that you do not trust it. You are saying, I need to manage this myself because I do not believe that anything good can happen without my direct supervision. But that is not true. Good things are trying to happen for you all the time. Beautiful things are trying to reach you. Opportunities are trying to find their way to your doorstep. But they cannot get through if you are so busy controlling the process that you have blocked every unexpected entrance. So here is the invitation. Loosen your grip. Not on your goals. Keep those. Not on your values, hold those tight. But loosen your grip on the how. Set your intention and then let the path reveal itself. Take the next step and then watch for the sign that tells you where to step after that. This is not passive. This is deeply active. It requires more courage than control ever did. Because control gives you the illusion of safety. Surrender gives you the reality of freedom. And freedom is what Sagittarius was born for. You do not have to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You do not have to know the ending of the story to write the next chapter. You just have to trust that the same force that has guided you through every storm, every heartbreak, every impossible situation is still guiding you now. It has not left. It has not forgotten you. It is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot see yet, arranging things you cannot imagine yet, preparing blessings you have not even thought to ask for yet. All it needs from you is one thing. Trust. There is one more shift that needs to happen before the momentum becomes permanent, and it has everything to do with how you see yourself. Tip 10. Rewrite the story you tell yourself about who you are. Sagittarius, there is a story you have been telling yourself for years, maybe decades. It runs in the background of your mind like a program you forgot you installed. And it sounds something like this. I always start but never finish. I am too much for people. I will never find what I am looking for. I am destined to keep searching but never arriving. Something is missing in me. I do not fit anywhere. Does any of that sound familiar? These stories feel so true that you probably never thought to question them. They feel like facts. They feel like the bedrock of your identity. But they are not facts. They are narratives. And narratives can be rewritten. The story you tell yourself about who you are determines everything in your life. It determines what you believe you deserve. It determines what you are willing to reach for. It determines how you respond to setbacks and how you celebrate victories. It determines the quality of your relationships, the trajectory of your career, the depth of your happiness, and the scope of your dreams. If your internal story says you are someone who always starts but never finishes, you will unconsciously sabotage yourself every time you get close to completion. If your internal story says you are too much for people, you will unconsciously dim your light in every relationship to make yourself more acceptable. If your internal story says something is missing in you, you will spend your entire life searching externally for something that can only be found within. These stories are powerful, but here is the most important thing you need to understand right now. You wrote them, maybe not consciously. Maybe they were given to you by experiences, by other people's opinions, by moments of pain that left a mark. But regardless of how they got there, they are in your mind, and that means you have the power to change them. This is not about pretending. This is not about positive affirmations that feel hollow. This is about sitting down with the stories you carry and asking them honest questions. Is this actually true? Is this the whole truth? Or is this just one perspective on a much larger, much more complex, much more beautiful picture? Because the truth is, Sagittarius, you are not someone who starts but never finishes. You are someone who has the courage to begin again and again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. That is not weakness. That is extraordinary resilience. You are not too much for people. You are exactly the right amount for the right people. And anyone who makes you feel like you need to be less is simply telling you they are not your people. There is nothing missing in you. You are complete. The searching is not a symptom of lack. It is an expression of your boundless curiosity and your refusal to settle for a small life. These are the true stories. And when you start telling yourself these versions instead of the old ones, everything shifts. Your posture changes. Your confidence grows. Your energy brightens. Your momentum accelerates. Because you are no longer fighting against yourself. You are finally on your own side. And a Sagittarius who is on their own side. That is an unstoppable force. But rewriting the story is not enough on its own. It needs to be anchored in daily action. And that is what the next section is about. Tip 11. Small daily actions create massive long-term shifts. There is a myth that transformation happens in big, dramatic moments. The sudden breakthrough, the overnight success, the single decision that changes everything. And while those moments do exist, they are not what builds lasting momentum. What builds lasting momentum is the small, unglamorous, often invisible actions you take every single day. The morning routine that nobody sees, the journal entry that nobody reads, the walk you take to clear your mind, the 5 minutes of silence where you reconnect with yourself, the healthy meal you choose when it would be easier to choose something else, the conversation you have with yourself where you remind yourself of who you are becoming. These are the building blocks of transformation, not the big leaps, the small, steady, consistent steps. And for Sagittarius, this is both the most important and the most challenging lesson, because your sign wants the big adventure. You want the dramatic change. You want to wake up one morning in a completely different life. And that desire is valid, but the path to that different life is paved with ordinary days. Days where nothing extraordinary seems to happen. Days where you show up and do the work even though you do not feel inspired. Days where the only proof that anything is changing is the quiet knowing in your own heart that you are becoming someone new. These are the days that matter most. Not the mountaintop moments, the valley moments, the moments when nobody is watching and nobody is applauding, and the only motivation you have is your own commitment to your own growth. This is where the lesson turns into momentum, because when you show up on the days you do not want to, you prove to yourself that you are serious. And that proof accumulates. It stacks up like layers of stone, one on top of another, until one day you look down and realize you have built something substantial, something that cannot be shaken by a bad day or a setback or someone else's doubt. You have built something on the bedrock of your own discipline and self-trust, and that is permanent. That is the kind of momentum that does not disappear when circumstances change, because it is not dependent on circumstances. It is dependent on you, on your daily choices, on your daily commitment, on your daily decision to be the person you are becoming instead of the person you used to be. So do not underestimate the small things, Sagittarius. Do not dismiss the daily habits as unimportant. Do not wait for the big moment to start living your transformation. The big moment is made up of thousands of small moments, and every small moment counts. Every single one. Start today. Start with one small action that aligns with the future you want. And then do it again tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and before you know it, you will look up and realize that the momentum is no longer something you have to create. It is something that carries you, it moves with you, flows through you, and the life that once felt so far away now feels like it is right here, within reach, waiting for you to claim it with your very next step. The next section ties everything together and reveals why this particular moment in your life is unlike any other. Tip 12. This is not a random moment. The timing is intentional. Sagittarius, everything in this message has been building to this. Every lesson, every insight, every piece of truth has been leading you to this one understanding. This moment in your life is not random. The fact that you are hearing these words right now is not coincidence. The timing is specific. The timing is intentional. The timing is aligned with something much larger than you can see from where you are standing. There are seasons in life when things simply move, when the resistance drops, when the current shifts in your favor, when the energy that has been building beneath the surface finally breaks through. And for Sagittarius, this is one of those seasons. You can feel it, even if you cannot name it, even if you cannot point to any specific evidence. There is a knowing in your bones that something is different now. Something has shifted, something is opening, and you are right. Something is. The lessons you have been learning, the ones we have talked about in this message and the ones you have been learning on your own, they have been preparing you for exactly this. Every struggle was preparation. Every heartbreak was preparation. Every moment of confusion was preparation. And now the preparation is complete. Not because you have all the answers. You never will. But because you have something more important than answers. You have awareness. You have self-knowledge. You have the hard-won wisdom that comes from living a full, messy, complicated, beautiful human life. And that is the raw material of momentum. Not perfection, not certainty, not having everything figured out. Just awareness. Just the willingness to keep learning. just the courage to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. You have all of that, Sagittarius. You have had it all along. The difference now is that you are finally beginning to see it. You are finally beginning to understand that everything you have been through was not wasted. It was invested. And the return on that investment is about to arrive. Not in some distant, vague future. Now, in this chapter, in this season, in the days and weeks immediately ahead of you, the momentum is not coming. It is already here. It has been building with every word you have listened to, with every truth you have recognized, with every moment of this message that made you think. Yes, that is exactly what I needed to hear. Trust that feeling. Trust the knowing. Trust yourself. Because the lesson has done its work. It has turned into momentum. And now all you have to do is move with it. The energy is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be present. It is asking you to show up with whatever you have and give it fully. It is asking you to stop waiting and start living with the kind of intention that makes ordinary days extraordinary. That is all. That is the whole message. Show up. Stay open. Trust the process. And let the momentum carry you where you were always meant to go. Sagittarius, if you have made it to this point, something inside you is already different from when you started listening. You can feel it. That quiet shift. That gentle stirring in your chest that says, yes, this is real. This is for me. This is my time. And I want you to hold on to that feeling. Not as a fleeting moment of inspiration that fades by tomorrow morning, but as a permanent marker in the timeline of your life. A line in the sand that separates the before from the after. Because that is what this message has been. Not just words, not just ideas, not just something to listen to while you go about your day. This has been a mirror. And in that mirror, you have seen the truth about yourself. You have seen the strength you forgot you had. You have seen the resilience you stopped giving yourself credit for. You have seen the fire that never actually went out, even when you were sure it had. You are not stuck, Sagittarius. You were never stuck. You were gathering. You were preparing. You were building the internal foundation that everything else will rest upon. And now that foundation is solid. Now it is strong. Now it is ready to hold the weight of everything you have been dreaming about. The momentum is real. The timing is right. The lesson has been learned. And the only thing left is for you to step into the life that has been waiting for you on the other side of all that growth. Do not hesitate. Do not second guess. Do not look back one more time at the road behind you. It served its purpose, brought you here. And here is exactly where you need to be. The fire inside you is not dimming. It is just getting started. And the world is about to see what happens when a Sagittarius finally decides to let that fire burn without apology, without restriction, without fear. So go, move, build, create, dream, act, because the lesson has turned into momentum. And momentum, once it starts, does not stop. You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift. Or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.